Although the upscale hotel where she worked was packed with well-known people at the time, the receptionist was on the phone with someone to get a room for him. An elderly guy in tattered clothing burst in. The staff tried to stop the man from entering and stepping onto the red carpet because they were so shocked by what they seen. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. However, the man stepped forward out of the blue and smiled at her. The old guy was unconcerned, but the irritated receptionist did not respond. After setting down the bag he was carrying, he informed the young woman that he would like to book a stay at that hotel. However, the young lady informed him that every room was reserved with a sigh. The elderly guy glanced at her and noted that some of the rooms were unbooked since he could see the keys hanging behind her. The young woman remained silent for a while before telling the elderly guy that the hotel was beyond of reach for his ilk, since it was meant for famous people and celebrities, and she could not disturb the patrons by letting him be among them. The elderly guy, who had traveled a great distance and was exhausted and in dire need of rest, repeatedly begged the receptionist to give him the key to one of the rooms. The old man informed the young woman that he wanted to talk to the hotel management when she refused to give him the keys. The old man's request worried the young woman, Angela, who begged him to stay in his spot and not move until she returned. She proceeded to the manager's office after that. She returned a little while later with Vesely Petrovich, the manager. The manager met the elderly guy and inquired about his assistance. Vesely Petrovich was told by the receptionist that she had told the elderly guy that all of the hotel rooms were reserved, but he didn't believe her. The old guy was requested to leave by the irate hotel manager, who said that the establishment was not for the impoverished and was respectable. He requested that he depart right away and find another hotel in the city. The elderly guy attempted to inform the management that he needed to relax since he was exhausted from his multi-day journey. He said that he was new to the city and did not know it well. He wanted to be given a room and assured them that he was prepared to pay like everyone else. Infuriated, the manager summoned the door's security and requested that he remove the elderly guy. The massive guard came over, took hold of his hand, and hauled him violently out of the hotel, telling him not to go back. Alina, an employee, arrived and yelled at the guard, accusing him of mistreating the elderly man. He didn't have to drag him in such a degrading manner, she informed him. Theodore, the guard, retorted that the elderly man had been obstinate in wanting to remain despite everyone's desires, and that he was doing what the director had instructed. After that, Alina stepped outside, touched the elderly man's shoulder, and inquired about his name and health. The elderly guy reassured her that he was all right and introduced himself as Victor Ivanovich. The young lady, who was really distressed by Victor's state, informed him that the hotel was reserved for high-profile individuals and that the personnel only showed kindness to people who were well off. They were avaricious and didn't think twice about throwing out the poor, she added. Soon after, Alina was sitting on the pavement with the elderly guy when Angela and another worker emerged and started laughing at her. They made fun of her by claiming that he wouldn't be a good husband and urged her to go back to work right away. Disregarding her co-workers, Alina carried on conversing with the old guy and recommended motels in the area where he might stay overnight. Alina requested Victor Ivanovich to wait until she was done with the dishes at the hotel, since she could tell he was exhausted and had trouble at such a late hour. She informed him that they would be taken to her modest home by her husband. The old guy felt terrible for Alina, a hotel dishwasher, and was concerned about disturbing her in such a confined place after learning that she was married, had a single child, and lived in a one-room apartment. Alina clarified that her husband was a kind and understanding man who would not object, but she reassured him that her flat could house them all. She demanded that he accompany her home, eat dinner, and get some rest. He may go about his business in the morning. Victor Ivanovich asked Alina whether her husband had a car before he went back into the hotel. With a grin, Alina informed him that her spouse was unable to stand due to a disability. She clarified that her husband had always wanted to work as a train driver, but 2 years after they were married, he was involved in a traffic accident and struck by an intoxicated motorist while working at a station. When her spouse became crippled, the elderly man questioned why she had stayed with him. Grinning, Alina told him how much her spouse loved her and was a lovely, devoted man. He had made an effort to make her happy all his life, and still did, even with his infirmity. 15 minutes or so later, Alina emerged from the hotel and informed Viktor Ivanovich that her husband and his companion will be there soon. Her husband and his buddy Kost showed there a little while later. Alina went to her husband and informed him about the young man and the elderly man. He accepted at once, beckoned Viktor Ivanovich into the car, and greeted him. The old man was shocked to see how small and cluttered the couple's room was when he walked in. It appeared that Alina was the one paying the family's bills with her meager income, which made it hard for her to purchase furnishings for the tiny apartment. Viktor Ivanovich played with the couple's little son, spoke with them, and shared supper. Then he got into bed, put a little blanket in the corridor at the door of the only room the couple slept in, and attempted to fall asleep. Despite their difficult financial situation, the loving couple had accepted him into their home, and he couldn't stop thinking about them. He also reflected about Kostya's challenging circumstances, requiring expensive private clinic therapy, before drifting off to sleep. When the guy woke up the following morning, the pair was waiting for him in the kitchenette, where they had made a straightforward meal. They asked him to go work and come back to them for another night, but the man said he was sorry and had to go back to his own house. After being denied a room by the staff at the opulent hotel, Viktor Ivanovich returned. The guard was startled to see him when he walked in and stopped him in his tracks. However, a little while later, a young guy wearing a sophisticated black suit and dark spectacles approached him from behind, presented the guard with his ID card, and requested that he allow the man to pass. After passing by, Viktor Ivanovich kept going till he arrived at Angelina's office, where she was occupied with a client. Her mood changed as she grew irritated upon seeing the old guy, threatening to call the police if he didn't leave. When the uniformed young guy attempted to step in, the elderly man told the receptionist that he wanted to speak with the manager and urged him to calm down. Viktor Ivanovich produced a card from his pocket and handed it to the hotel management as he emerged. The manager greeted the elderly guy and apologized right away after reading it, but Viktor refused to accept the apologies and insisted that he call every employee so he could talk to them. Perplexed, Angelina requested Vasily Petrovich to clarify the situation, but he abruptly commanded her to keep quiet. Viktor Ivanovich spoke to the hotel staff once they had all assembled, including Nina, who was taken aback to see him. He disclosed that in addition to the hotel, he also owned a 7-star hotel in New York and more in other cities. He clarified that he had arrived at his new hotel, which he had never seen in person, and was unhappy to find that his directives to treat every visitor with courtesy and compassion were not being carried out. He thus said that he would be firing the manager and a number of other employees. Pointing to Nina, Viktor explained what she had done to him and said that because of her compassion and respect, she would shortly take over as hotel superintendent. Then he said goodbye to everyone. The young man who had accompanied Viktor Ivanovich returned the following day and took the hotel personnel by surprise with some news. He informed Nina and Kostya that the elderly guy had sent them a present after departing for America because of professional commitments. Nina was shocked to see a sizable quantity of cash and a note from Viktor Ivanovich inside the bag. According to the letter, the funds were intended to pay for Kostya's spinal surgery and to purchase an opulent apartment in the heart of the city. Additionally, Viktor pledged to provide additional funds in the future. Since meeting Viktor Ivanovich, the couple's life have transformed in ways they couldn't even comprehend. Nina quickly rose to the position of hotel receptionist and was training to become a manager. After a successful surgery, Kostya was able to stand again and resumed his work, which he had lost 2 years earlier. They were having a great time with their lone boy, and their situation had significantly improved. They decorated their lovely new apartment and looked forward to Viktor Ivanovich's visits whenever he was in town. I appreciate you viewing. Kindly give the video a like and spread the word on social media. We'll be back soon with more information. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.